Hello everyone, this is Patty from PentaQ. Today we are very honored to have Perkz, G2 esports founder and CEO with us in this interview. How are you, Harold?
I'm doing very, very good. That's actually the best way. I like how you spell my name.
How should I spell? How do you guys spell it?
Well, typically, like in Spain, we say Carlos.
Carlos?
But I like the way you spelled it as well. It's very nice.
Carlos. Can I say that, Carlos?
Yeah, go ahead. It's all good.
Okay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about you and to introduce you to the Chinese community, and also a little bit about G2 and the org. Is that okay with you?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So we're going to touch on roster change first. So in the past few weeks, we've heard that you're thinking about reforming the entire League of Legends team. Is that right?
Well, the word I think I used is rebuild.
Okay, so
and yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, rebuild in this case stands for there's clearly there will clearly be like a before and after, and we have other 9 teams, so we have 10 teams in G2, and every single team has gone through rebuilding moments, and it's normal. Like I've seen it over and over and over. Like a team succeeds, and then eventually it's necessary to make some changes to get back to the top. And typically the way that happens is, when you're winning, it's really, really hard to identify improvements, right? Really, really hard. So then you need to be hit in the face before you rebuild again and find for improvements and look for improvements. So, I mean, it's like part of the cycle. And it's obviously I'm much more emotionally connected to League of Legends than I am to other games because it's my career in the past, from the past. But the principle is the same. And looking at new talent, whatever the role, is a necessity in these moments.
Okay. So what exactly do you think G2 needs most improvement on? Is it the talents or is it other aspects?
Well, it's definitely not talent, It's definitely not talent. Like if you just isolate one by one every player, I think it's hard to find a better team within the Western world. And ultimately, I think this all comes down to it is really hard to remain very hungry for success as an individual when you have attained a lot of success already. So sometimes all it takes is a small change to reignite the spark, Sometimes it takes for someone, if you're a player and you've won a lot in the past, maybe you need a change. Maybe you need to change, And whatever the case may be, what does not work, and it does not work in any team, in any video game, in any sport or whatever, is to keep the same lineup forever. It just doesn't work. Because at some point, bad habits develop from spending time with the same teammates. Then you don't have like an outsider's perspective, a different level of energy coming in to help the current players improve. And it's just very easy to fall into tunnel visioning on how the game should be played. It's very easy to fall into bad habits, as I said. It's very easy to fall into, what's the word I'm looking for? Like monotony, when you're surrounded by the same people all the time. So I think that this is just part of the cycle. And in general, what we need is like freshness. That's what we need. We need freshness. I am very ambitious with our teams, and our League of Legends team will win worlds at some point in time. This is undeniable to me. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So however, I have to contextualize that goal. And obviously I can't get 5 Chinese players because the import rules wouldn't allow me. And even getting 1 or 2 Chinese players or Korean players or Vietnamese players or whatever, you could argue, super expensive, known, whatever, you could argue, yeah, we might be better like mechanically or something. But is that really what will make the team win? Every team, Dam1, RNG, like every little FPX, every team out there literally goes through periods of losing. And what really makes a difference is the culture of the team. How does the team react to those losses?
Right.
And I think that if there is a multicultural sort of lineup, how you approach those challenges becomes significantly harder, because specifically everybody should speak English incredibly well, number one. Number two, the cultural differences between regions is actually, I mean, I've seen it in front of me plenty of times. We had Emperor, we had Trick, we had Expect, and as great people as they are, you know, when challenges come, it is very hard for all these very different cultures to mesh and react equally to that challenge and how to fix it. So, and this is the point I was trying to get. I don't know what the right answer is yet to our problems, but something tells me that freshness within Europe is the answer.
My last question kind of relates to this, but not really. So in the beginning of the year, Perkz left G2, right? It's kind of like maybe he's looking for something new. Maybe G2 is looking for something new. But like people associate G2 with Perkz so much that they're a thing. And like having Perkz leave the team, do you think that affects the team, or do you think that affects any side of you? How do you rebuild from that?
I mean,
and you
so
have
number
really
one,
good, yeah, you have a really good relationship with him too, right? So
yeah.
Wondering why did he leave, and like how do you come back?
So Perkz essentially wanted to play mid, and we obviously have Caps, and Perkz and I made a deal with Caps when Caps joined, that if you know that that if Perkz would get bored of the role, we wouldn't like force Caps out essentially, right? And I think he said it as well himself, but this is the truth, you know. And so we tried Caps AD carry one split. He hated it, even though we won the split, you know. Perkz didn't like AD carry either, so it was a clear issue because we had 2 mid laners, and so that something had to change, and for multiple reasons, also including the fact that Perkz has been with us for a long time. We've been with Perkz for a long time. We both thought it was good to like part ways actually finally, and yeah, so that's on one end. On the other end of you know, people are always in hindsight. Obviously, they're gonna be like, oh, Cloud9 qualified for Worlds. G2 didn't qualify for Worlds. If Perkz would be in G2, you would have qualified for Worlds, right? But I don't know if that's true. I'm not, you know, I think that Perkz has something that I have not seen many players have to that level, which is Perkz is the absolute best player when it comes down to crunch time. Like when it's like 2-2, and then all of a sudden you see the best Perkz, you know? And I think that's a very rare trait. I mean, I think most good players, most great players have that trait, but not to that level. Like he's fucking crazy. Like he will, in that moment, you will see the very best version of Perkz every single time, and has been consistent for many years. So in crunch time situations, we do lose someone incredible, definitely. Also, Perkz used to be the voice of, like, he would get pissed if we wouldn't know the meta. And like he would get really fucking pissed. He would honestly rile up the team. And that was a necessity with the team we had.
Yeah.
Because we had a very loose, easygoing team, you know? And Perkz added that level of structure that we ended up simply not having, not structure, but that level of anger when things were not right, right before we shit the bed, you know? So I think we missed that. I think Jankos took a big step forward in becoming that person, but definitely we did miss that. And I don't think there is a world in which we would have kept like both Caps and Perkz for the reasons I explained before, right? Like the last thing I want is an AD carry that hates the role, and like, you know, a mid laner that knows his AD carry hates the. It's a bad setup of. So I think that if things would have been kept the same, I think the result would have not been too different. Even if we qualified for Worlds, yeah, maybe we pass group stage, but then we fucking lose in semis again or quarterfinals again. I mean, people might consider that a success. I consider that a huge failure. I want to fucking win Worlds, you know? And it's funny I say that when we got fourth in the LEC, which is a joke. Like just getting fourth in the LEC is a joke for G2. You look at the team. And... So yeah, I don't know. I do have a lot of thoughts. I don't have the absolute truth, but I am very straightforward with myself, and I try to look at things with clarity and humility, right? Like I'm open to making mistakes. I don't give a fuck about making mistakes, and I learn from them. I like making mistakes, but even looking back in hindsight, I just don't know what I would have done differently. I just don't know. Like now I have extra context that will help me with future decisions. But with what I knew back then, I don't know if I would have done something different. Probably not.
Mistakes makes you better.
Oh yeah. I mean, my career is literally built on the back of failures. Like I'm 31 years old. I started when I was 15, and I lost so much that I learned how to not lose. and yeah, it's like, and I apply that everywhere, you know. And my career again is like off the back of failures, like expect it back there. There you go.
But now you're the founder of G2, so that's not a failure, right? Like it's
no, but I mean, again, it's the same as always. Like, G2esports wasn't always G2esports. We were gamers too. We sucked. We had a lot of failures. I mean, again, and then we built G2, and with G2, MSI failure, and then eventually another change, and then Worlds failure, and then another change, and then eventually you got the 2019 year. You know, it's like we live, we learn. There are better years, there are worse years, but overall, the average keeps going up in our knowledge on how to do things. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks to lose, but without losing, the future would look much worse. And at the end of the day, like I don't think I would be the person I am today, nor G2 would be the organization it is today, if I wouldn't have got backdoored by XPK, or if I wouldn't have played so bad in some tournaments, or if I wouldn't have sacked as CEO of G2 at the very beginning. It's just not possible.
Great answer. That was inspiring, very inspiring. So you have Rekkles on the team, and he's also very famous and like a legend player in EU. So how is he doing on the team right now? Or like how do you like him for the past year?
If you single out every player in G2, there's not a lot of bad things I can say about them, honestly. Okay. Like if you go one by one, like Wonder, incredibly talented, one of the biggest, if not the biggest talent in the whole Western world. Jankos, incredibly experienced. He still has the mechanics. I don't understand how he's so good after many years. Caps, still a kid, loves League of Legends. It's almost like, it feels to me like he will always be good, like until he just gets bored of the game, which doesn't seem to be anytime soon. And then Mickey, incredible mechanics, used to be a mid laner as well, very creative mindset, and a good guy. And then you asked me about Rekkles, same story. It's like the talent is immense, but what I'm most impressed by is his like the focus in his energy deployment in essentially winning. He plays solo queue all day, and he's been playing this game for like 10 years. he is a very methodical person. So he believes in the power of habit and goes to bed early, wakes up early, which I'm not even sure that's a good thing in video games, especially when sometimes you gotta play at 10 p.m. But in general, he just has this very structured life that works for him. So yeah, I have a lot of good things to say about him. I think that our problems as a team that do not come from the individual strengths, but it comes from the lack of team play. Honestly, it comes from the lack of. It's like if you put like, do you follow football, soccer? Like,
not
well,
really.
well, like in basketball, if you put like 5 LeBron James, it just won't work. It simply won't work. It just won't
get
work.
it. And everyone needs to do their job.
Exactly. And sometimes the best combination of teams. I mean, look at the Damwon, for example. ADC of Damwon is Ghost, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ghost. Everybody says, "Oh, he's not good enough. He's not the most. He's not the best in the team. He's a weakling." Well, I mean, he does his job, and Damwon works really well thanks to the fact that he does his job. He doesn't care about being strong side or weak side. He just goes 1v2 if he needs to. He will get he will mix XP and farm often just because his support might be roaming or something. Like he's a team player at heart, and he's okay playing both strong and weak side. And well, if you isolate him into a team where he needs to be the star, maybe he doesn't work out. But in Damwon, he works out perfectly. So I think that's the key point here. It's like the best team is not the team with the most talent. The best team, especially how the game is evolving, is the team with the best defined roles and culture fit.
Got it. So like, do you think if like recruiting Asian players to EU is gonna like not fit in?
I mean, we made it fit in back in the days before, right? But
yeah.
I think that League of Legends has changed since then. Like, I think League of Legends is almost figured out, if not already figured out. The difference between Faker and a second division Korean mid laner, mechanically speaking, is actually not that high. Probably is like very, very small. Like Faker can get solo killed by any of these rookies, and so can Caps, by the way. And so the strength is not in mechanics anymore. It's in the ability of teams to learn the meta, adapt to the new metas, adapt to the new patches, learn how to move like a unit, learn how to just learn how to play the game as a team. That's what truly matters right now. And yeah, that I think League of Legends is figured out, honestly, already. It's been 10 years, people know how to play it, and the best teams right now, I mean, look at Mad Lions. Like Mad Lions in Europe, they're a unit. They're a unit, and you could say, yeah, maybe individually they're not the best, maybe, but as a unit they work. And I think that's what League of Legends is about nowadays.
So actually, my next question was going to ask you if you ever considered like recruiting LPL players, because we saw you posting on Twitter.
I have.
Really?
And I have considered, and I do consider right now as well. But I am always like, I'm looking at like the biggest names, but again, I don't know if that solves the problem. Like G2 hasn't lost because of talent, There are other reasons why G2 has lost.
Exactly.
And I don't know if adding more talent will fix the issue. I mean, in 2019, when our team was so good, we were very creative with the game, but there were a couple of power picks. I don't know if you remember, like there was a Kali, there was Silas. We created Pike in solo lane. Even Camille, I remember, was decent. Like there was a lot of Irelia, as well, was decent. There was a lot of power picks actually that you could 1v9 a game with. And I think that nowadays that is just less common. Maybe it's a byproduct of meta, but it looks to me that's where League of Legends is going towards, you know. But yeah, if there's an LPL player out there that not only has the skills, but I know for a fact speaks English quite well, and could fit into the culture of the team, I can see a world where we pick him. Yeah, like
nice.
pretty. Yeah.
Cool. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you. But okay, so my next question is that, so you stated numerous times that the overall success of the team, the most important factor for a successful org, right? So besides from winning, what other aspects do you keep in mind the team stays and have to remain successful other than winning games? Because G2 has been there since the beginning, and you're still there. Besides from like having championships after championships, what other aspects that have made the team like stay up there for so long? Because we've also saw teams that are like good for 1 or 2 years and they go away, but G2's always been there.
So we are an entertainment company at heart, right? And so there's two things that are important. There's two things that are important to us. Ambition in general, not only competitive ambition, but also like every other aspect, like content production capabilities, socials, etc., and entertainment. And so those two things are the two pillars in which the company got built upon. So for us, besides the obviously winning, which is great, it's very important that we have fun on Twitter, that we have a brand that people want to root for or against, you know. We are very, very relevant. Every time you follow us on Twitter, whether you're a fan or a hater, there's a high chance you will laugh at our content, you know, at our tweets, at our videos, whatever. And like, we just like to have fun. You know, this is at the end of the day, this is a fun thing we're doing. We're not, you know, we're not in the mines, just, you know, trying to get coal or something, you know. We are literally playing video games. And we are making videos, having fun and having a good time. So that's what we want to portray, the energy we want to portray. And that's our actual focus besides winning as well.
That's great. So actually it kind of connects to the following question. So we want to try to turn the questions onto you as a personality, as an esports org that is very bright and entertaining, because everyone think of you as someone that is like very entertaining, very bright, very outgoing person, right? So would you say that is what you're trying to make your image as, or G2's image as, or are you just naturally, is it just
no, we are like that? Like it's been too long, you know. It's been too long. You can't like fake it, you know. Like exactly. we are like this, you know. Like I came this morning to the office. And it's like, and I had a bad start of the day because of a couple of calls already from home, and I still came like super energetic, and people are like, you know, and they even told me, oh my God, you're happy today. I'm like, oh, it's been a shitty day so far, so but it's fine, you know. It's like, so it's like, I don't know, it's like a culture thing, honestly. It's the way we are. And when I hire someone, it's also, I'm looking for the same or a similar energy, you know. So then it compounds. Everybody in G2 is sort of like this. And honestly, I think that, especially after so many years doing the same thing, it's like impossible to fake it, you know. We are this way, we are the way we are. If we create a new brand, it cannot be a sad brand, as a professional, super serious brand. No, it will probably be another, you know, just fucking around brand, you know.
That's why all our like staff members are your fans.
Yeah, honestly, it's like it's funny because people here in the office like make fun of me all the time, and I'm like, I fucking love it, you know. And you don't see in many companies just people making fun of the fucking CEO or something, but I enjoy it, you know. I also roast them back. It's honestly just good vibes, you know. Of course, then shit hits the fan, and we got serious face, and now it's time to fix it. Because like, actually, it's so funny. You know what I just told you about ambition and entertainment? same happens in the culture
Yeah.
and in G2. It's like we're very funny. We like to have fun. We like the loose approach, but then crunch time comes, boom, ambition,
Serious.
determination. Not necessarily serious. Like we're still having a good time, but definitely like focused in getting it done properly. So yeah, I mean, what I can see is that many people that come and go in G2 as employees or players, they feel every time they leave G2 and go anywhere else, literally anywhere else, they feel like they're missing a part of their soul, like the part of their soul that seeks a rewarding, difficult experience that helps them grow as people and gives them like a deep sense of purpose. That's what I think G2 gives you.
So I guess like since you have this very unique image, so have you met like brands or like companies that doesn't like that kind of image? And like, yeah. And how do you persuade them, or do you persuade them? Like,
no, I don't. Like, we don't. I understand, if you're like an insurance company that just wants to have everything like super squared and like perfect and like, I mean, I'm not saying business wise, like our business is funny because as funny as we are, our business is the best looking business in esports. Like our commercial team, partnerships team, marketing team, everything like so well structured. However, then you go to Twitter and you see us say some shit, like we just go and roast somebody, or like in interviews, we say the F word all the time or whatever. And some companies don't like that, and that's fine. These companies, they might want to sponsor boring things instead, like Fnatic. That's fine, like we get the fun brands.
So what if like someone like, for example, Rekkles came from Fanatics, and how do you guys like blend in? I guess came from a different kind of atmosphere. Like how do you like blend in players that are not that G2 before and then come to G2 and then get used to the culture?
The amount of times that in many different games we got a player that had the perception of being boring or whatever, and then all of a sudden they come into G2 and things change actually, because things change, definitely. I mean, of course, not everybody's a comedian, but even the most unfunny person in the right environment can be in good spirits and energetic and like wholesome, and in a way it can be funny too, so yeah, it's I believe that the environment is what makes or breaks the energy of a person.
That makes sense, actually. I think the environment changes people a lot.
100%.
I guess the next question kind of refers to some in an interview you did with ESPN in 2019. So we read that you were interested in expanding your company to North America from that interview, right? You had that interview with ESPN. So how is that going?
Actually, well, COVID happened, obviously, which doesn't help, but we already have people working from New York, in fact, and some other places in NA. So we already have a lot of hires in there. We have the Rocket League team, the Apex Legends team, the Fortnite team, and one more team I can't tell, also from North America. And so it's like almost like 40% of our teams are from North America. Creators, we have creators from North America. A lot of our creators are from there. So we already started the expansion plan. But of course, the physicality of it is hard with COVID. Right. But as things ease out, which they will, and they are easing out slowly, we'll be physically present there. Awesome. I mean, as in with an office and an affiliate headquarters.
So why not Korea, or why not China? Are you thinking about those two maybe in the future?
Yeah, we do think a lot about those two, and just Southeast Asia in general as well. Like emerging markets, like those are very interesting and fun because people are very energetic and very. I mean, they want the regions to be represented somehow, Yeah. So there's a lot in there that we actually have in mind, and also is part of our plans for
in the future
next year actually.
Oh.
So yeah, we already are doing some stuff in China that I can't tell either. But yeah, honestly, it's part of it. I am just very, I like to be focused. I'm focused, and I don't want to do everything. I want to do a few things, do it very well, and then do another thing, do it very well, then do another thing, and do it very well, as opposed to, this is what Americans do. Americans are like, do a million things. They say they do a million things, but everything is shit. I like to do like less things and do them well. Yeah, I could open up some, just some South Korean social media or what. I mean, but that's like whatever, like I want to do a proper expansion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we can't wait to hear what you're planning on doing in China.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, it's incredible how Chinese people, like in our, in our Weibo and all that stuff, people follow us a lot, and I like to get, when people comment there in our posts and everything, I like to get like a rundown of some of the best comments and memes and stuff, because Chinese memes are hilarious.
They're very, very
like I am rolling like in tears often. I think like Chinese memes are so far ahead of Western memes. It's incredible. I wish Western people would like start doing those kind of memes. Seriously, it's so fucking funny. So fucking. And when I get told the context of the meme, we have people in the company, right, that are Chinese, and Chiayu, one of them, and she explains the context of these memes. I'm like just rolling on the floor, like it's just too fucking funny. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, they're really sarcastic, and they're very funny in a very sarcastic way.
Yeah. I love sarcasm. It's just like sarcasm to me, like the best form of humor.
And they can be very mean when they're mean.
Yeah, yes, true. But it's like so dark sometimes, these memes are so dark sometimes, and I'm just laughing, I just love that humor.
Yeah, it's kind of like
the Western is too soft. The Western world is too soft with memes. Way too soft.
Yeah, exactly. Step up their game.
Step up, guys. God damn it.
Okay, so I guess the next question is on family. So since you've been doing esports for such a long time, how do you balance your family life? Do they go to esports tournaments with you, or do you how do you balance your time within family and esports tournaments and go to games and stuff?
So me and my beautiful wife met in a tournament actually, because she was playing Counter-Strike. She's a French Counter-Strike player. Well, she used to be, not anymore. So she knows about esports, obviously, and she plays games. So, I mean, we have a similar backgrounds in that regard, And I have a 5-year-old son, which
games.
Yeah, he loves all the iPad stuff, and every time I'm playing anything on the PC, he wants to watch and stuff. So yeah, anyway, so we are a very esports family, and gaming family. So it's very, they're part of my life, obviously. And I wouldn't be nearly as successful if I wouldn't have my family, They give me the backbone I need, and they're a big portion, if not a big, is the biggest portion of the reason why things go well for me.
I wonder what your house looks like. It must be a lot of everywhere is screens and games.
Well, actually, you'd be surprised, because we have a gaming area, my wife and I, which is funny because I don't have time to game, but we do have a gaming area. Okay. Upstairs, we have we live in a penthouse, and the upstairs is all for gaming, and I have my sim racing setup for driving, a really, really good setup. I have my my computer with 2 monitors and everything, all my gaming gear, and she has exactly the same. Wow. And with a G2 Army flag on top, and it's very cool actually. And and but then you go downstairs and it's like a normal home, you know? So it's almost like we like that separation between work and hobby and family, I guess. So yeah.
So the gaming room is the work room.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, like when I work from home, that's where I work from. And it almost feels sad that I'm surrounded by LEDs and by, you know, by by the sim racing setup, by a lot of gaming stuff. And I'm just working, having calls and just, you know, yeah.
I guess the last question is, if your son grow up, like, will you encourage him to become a pro gamer, or what suggestions would you give to him?
I think that it's very easy to like romanticize being a pro player or being a singer or being I don't know, an NBA player or whatever. But I am a big believer that you typically like what you're good at. Actually, that's what I found.
Yeah.
And so either found what you like, or either find what you like, or either find what you are good at, and then double down on it. So if he tells me I want to be a pro gamer, I'll be very honest with him. I'll tell him the truth. Most pro gamers waste their lives in front of the computer without achieving anything. A very small amount, like me, make it big, and are talented enough to be world champions. That's a very, 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 very small amount. So do you think you have the skills? Do you like this enough? Do you enjoy raising the trophy, or do you enjoy the 10 hours, 12 hours a day grind for years? What is it that you enjoy? Because if you enjoy raising the trophy, you won't get far. If what you enjoy is the journey of like this 10, 12 hours a day grinding, then you might get far if you're lucky enough to have the talent and the mindset to back it up. So I just think that, I mean, it's I don't know the right answer to these things, because I'm young. I'm a new parent. I'm also learning as we go. But I would just be like, look, you can try it out, but this is how it looks like. It's fucking complicated. If you want to try it out, I support you. But I will also tell him the truth, you know, especially with esports. I know my shit. So I will tell him early on, actually, son, you suck at this. Maybe you should just go find something else, if that's the case.
You sound like the perfect dad, though. Like,
I don't know about that. There's no perfect dad.
Is like really nice for a father, because like some fathers actually would tell their children no, right? Some stuff they would be like, you have to be some kind of person when they grow up, right?
Yeah, but I'm also lucky because the things that happened to me in my life built the person that I am today in a way. And if I would have lived through the things my dad lived through, maybe I would have been like my dad, or very likely I would have been like my dad instead. So I think it's normal, you know. I don't have a university career, and I look at my career, and I mean, I don't want this to be like a headline or anything, but I own my business. I invested in multiple different things. My life is done, financially speaking. Like my life, I could stop working tomorrow and I would still be rich for the rest of my life. And I don't have a university career. So I have learned that you don't have to follow the rules that people think you have to follow to be successful. I made my own rules. So why wouldn't my son prove me wrong as well? Like maybe he can prove me that there are other ways, even more unconventional ways, even to be successful. And what is successful as well, right? Like maybe like for some people being successful is to own 3 goats and be walking in the mountains, you know? And some people are just happier than me doing that. So you just find what you want your life to be about, you know, and double down.
That's definitely going to be the headline. Thank you so much. Okay,
do not make the headline about money, please.
No, that's the perfect headline.
Hi, I have some more questions. Maybe Patty need to cut my voice because my English is not actually good.
It's great. Don't worry about it.
The question for me is like, what do you think about the future of the esports industry? You can answer it about how esports will develop in the whole world and about the development of in the Europe region.
Yep. Well, the cool thing about esports is that it doesn't matter whether you're competing on computer games, console games, mobile games, VR games, AR games. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a video game and there's competition, it can become an esport, or it is by default an esport, right? So I can see a world where like 20 years from now, there's like an actual physical location, like a gladiator arena, and there is like an AR avatars that people control, and like they throw magic, and like you almost see it like if they were people, but they're like avatars, like, you know, and they're like AR or something like that. I can see that being the case, or like maybe like holograms or something that fight each other or something. I can see that being the case. So a part of me thinks that what esports is today might be very, very different from what esports is 20 years from now. Like right now, you just need reflexes, good eye-hand coordination, and a lot of grinding. Maybe in the future, you actually need physicality as on top of that. Like maybe, you know, there's the super athletes with the sportsmen like Cristiano Ronaldo, LeBron James, whatever. And then there is there might be there's the esports athletes, right? Which are like very mentally strong. Maybe one day you have the super hyper athletes, which are like physically incredibly fit, as well as mentally incredibly good and fast, because those games might require both. That's very possible, actually. So I don't know. The short answer is I don't know. The long answer is I think that it's going to be very different from what we see today, because technology is growing rapidly and evolving rapidly.
And what's the difference between esports in Europe and esports in other regions? Because, you know, every region has its own culture, and how will it influence the development?
Yeah, each region has different cultures. Europe, for example, all European countries have very employee-friendly laws. And as a result of that as well, employers have way less rights to demand certain work. I'm not saying better or worse or anything. I don't have an opinion. And then you go into places like China, where you do see teams being able to make players play longer and stuff like that. I guess it's just different rules, you know. But I think what truly matters is sort of when you grow up, depending on the region, there's different motivations in your environment. And in America, for example, the motivation and everything is about consuming. It's a consumist. So of course I am overgeneralizing, and everybody, you know, people are different, but on average, every region has their pros and cons. And yeah, ultimately that's I don't think you can like change that average, you know. You just have to embrace what your region is about.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll be able to speak soon in the future.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
And bye-bye.
Let me know if you need anything else, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Picture of your house with all the like computer stuff.
And goodbye to everybody, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you support G2 in 2022. Let's go, G2!
Bye.
Bye.